Welcome to the deep dive. Imagine this. You're in a warm, maybe a bit chaotic cafe. There's that comforting smell of masala-chai. You hear the cups clinking softly.
Sounds nice.
It does, but beneath that cozy surface, for 5 people there, something feels, well, heavy.
Ah.
So today, our deep dive takes us right into that scene, to the Gully Café in Pune, India. We're going to meet 5 people, each from a different generation, who are about to open up about the unspoken money worries weighing them down.
Right, and our source material for this is called Gully Café, Navigating Life's Financial Maze. It gives us this really close look at the different kinds of financial stress people deal with at various points in their lives.
So our mission today.
Well, I think it's about unpacking these challenges. They're really relatable, I think, and understanding the sort of unseen strain so many of us carry.
And maybe seeing how sharing these stories, this journey, can actually spark some hope for getting through what feels like a maze, right?
Exactly, finding a way through that financial labyrinth.
The source really paints a picture. It's a Tuesday morning, a bit gloomy monsoon drizzle on the window. But inside, you've got the smell of chai, toasted pav, but there's this quiet at one table. Heavy silence.
Yeah, it mentions Meera, Ajay, Rohan, Anjali, and Cyrus Uncle were all there.
And you can almost see the unease, can't you? Even before they talk. What are those little signs the source points out?
It's really well observed. You have Meera, she's coming forward, glued to her phone, maybe hiding some anxiety there. Ajay, the newlywed, 30, he's fiddling, shredding a napkin, his wedding ring catching the light.
Nervous energy.
Totally. Then Rohan, 41, just staring into his poha, looking exhausted. Anjali, 52. Sipping her tea, tired but watchful eyes.
And Cyrus Uncle.
He's 70, stirring his tea slowly, kind of lost in thought. It's the kind of quiet old friends might have, but this time it feels different. Loaded.
And this is where it hits home for so many of us listening, I think. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you're raising a family or dealing with complex stuff or retirement.
You'll likely see a bit of yourself in these stories.
Absolutely. These aren't just their problems, they echo worries lots of people have.
Precisely. It really highlights that financial well-being today isn't just about, piling up money. It's more about finding resilience in a world that feels pretty volatile sometimes.
So that heavy silence, it does eventually break.
It does.
And it's Anjali, 52, the entrepreneur who's recently divorced, who starts things off.
Right. She kind of sighs and says running her boutique alone now feels like carrying a huge weight.
And then her daughter's college applications just added, 5 more bricks to that load?
Yeah, and she feels completely alone in it. No backup. Just her.
The source talks about divorce as financial whiplash. That sounds intense.
It really is. It covers everything: the lawyers, splitting accounts, selling assets, sorting out loans, and then having to, rebuild everything on just one income.
It's not just the numbers, then.
Not at all. It's the emotional hit, too. And it spills over. Her cynicism about the markets, feeling burnt before.
Yeah, she mentions that.
It leads to this fear that retirement is just a fantasy. Postponed dreams, she calls it. It shows how past financial trauma can really mess with future planning.
Such a tough spot. And then we shift gears to Meera, the youngest, 24. First job, marketing exec.
Just starting out.
And bam, first student loan payment hits. 14,000 rupees a month.
Wow, that's steep.
She says it's half her rent, and meanwhile, she's seeing all this stuff online.
The social media effect.
Yeah, people making 50 grand overnight on Dogecoin or listing their 3 passive income streams at 22. It's overwhelming.
When she tried to dip her toe in.
She admits putting 2,000 rupees into some meme coin. Poof, gone. Along with her budget for, hair stuff and avocados.
Ouch, that stings. What's the core feeling she expresses? This disconnect you mentioned.
Yeah, she feels her parents just don't get this new economy that has no job security.
That's a really key point. It's not just budget better. It's a fundamental gap in understanding how wealth works, or doesn't work now.
With the gig economy, crypto.
Exactly. Digital assets, high living costs. The old rules often don't seem to apply, and parents might struggle to relate.
Okay, next up is Ajay, 30, the newlywed. He manages a weak smile.
Uh-oh. Wedding bill time?
Yep. He says they finally tallied up the costs for their big fat Indian wedding. Let's just say it left them with a slim, terrified-looking bank account. 5 years of savings, gone in 5 days.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Now they're supposed to be building a future, but they're starting deep in a hole. The pressure, he says, is immense.
Yeah, you can see how major life events, especially big cultural ones like weddings, can become these huge financial turning points, often setting people back right when they're trying to move forward.
That expectation versus the reality gap, it creates serious stress.
Absolutely, right at the beginning of their life together.
And Rohan, 41, the tech guy with 2 kids, he just nods grimly at Ajay.
Like, welcome to the club.
Pretty much. He warns him, get used to the pressure, my friend. It just changes shape. Rohan describes his life as EI heavy.
Ah, the monthly installments, home loan, investments.
Right. Home loan, SIPs for retirement, Sikanya Samriti for his daughters. His wife's working extra shifts. They barely see each other.
Sounds exhausting.
He says it feels like they're running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. That image really stuck with me.
It's very vivid.
And he mentions his dad's old advice, earn more, spend less, and says it just doesn't apply anymore. Is that really true, or is some of this anxiety just timeless?
That's a fair question. Money worries are definitely not new, but Rohan's specific pressures do feel very modern.
How so?
He nails it when he says, one medical emergency, one job loss, and our house of cards collapses. That feeling of fragility, even with a decent income.
Yeah.
That's characteristic of today. Less job security, faster changes, rising costs like healthcare. It is a different financial world than maybe 30 years ago. Even successful people can feel vulnerable.
And finally, we get to Cyrus Uncle, 70. He's been quiet.
A retired gentleman.
His pension covers the basics, he says, but these unexpected costs keep popping up, like needing new dentures last week.
Oh yeah, that can be pricey.
55,000 rupees, even after insurance. Plus, his blood pressure meds aren't cheap.
The cost of aging.
So he's quietly worrying, what if I need full-time care down the road? And he wants to leave something for his grandkids, but doesn't want to be a burden either.
It's poignant, isn't it? Even in retirement, the money worries don't just vanish.
Yeah.
That's longevity, risk the fear of outliving savings.
And that worry about being a burden or not leaving a legacy.
It shows financial planning isn't just about getting to retirement, it's about navigating the whole of life, including the later years.
You really sense that generation gap when they start talking about advice, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Meera's parents saying, just budget better.
Right. As if it's that simple. And she feels they just don't understand the lack of job security today.
Rohan feels the same way about his father's earn more, spend less. It feels out of sync with his reality.
That fear, he mentioned one crisis and everything falls apart, that seems central.
It is. Because the traditional advice, however well meant, often doesn't factor in today's speed of change. The gig work, digital money, rising healthcare costs.
There's a need for something different, guidance that gets these new pressures.
Exactly.
Oh.
Which, interestingly, leads to a suggestion from Cyrus Uncle.
Ah, yes, the potential glimmer of hope. He mentions his neighbor, Seema.
Right, and she apparently swears by her financial planner, this guy named Karan.
And the description of Karan is quite something. He explains SIPs using cricket analogies.
And cracks jokes while talking about term insurance. Not your typical image of a planner.
Definitely sounds like someone who might break through the tension in that room.
Well, initially there's some pushback, understandably.
Meera's first thought is,
Sounds expensive. And she worries about walking into a bank and getting pushed into some product she doesn't need, like a UIP.
a common fear. And Anjali,
Given her past experiences, especially post-divorce, she's deeply skeptical. Distrusts advisors who just want to sell policies. She basically says, trusting someone with money feels impossible now.
that broken trust is such a huge barrier for people seeking help.
It really is.
Yeah.
But then, you see a little shift.
Rohan speaks up.
Yeah, the pragmatist. He wonders aloud, maybe it's time to bring someone in who can help us untangle this money mess. He sees the potential value of an outside view.
And Ajay jumps in too.
He does. He's tired of the panic and hope cycle he and his wife are in. He says, I'm in. We need a plan that isn't just panic and hope.
It feels like a moment of shared realization, maybe.
I think so. Moving from suspicion to a cautious openness.
And Cyrus Uncle helps bridge that gap.
Yeah, he adds that Karan apparently helped Seema sort out her investments and nominees without making her feel, stupid.
That detail seems important. It's not just about knowing stuff, it's about how you communicate it. Empathy.
Exactly. He explains he doesn't just sell. That seems key.
And that seems to be the turning point for the others. Even Meera is willing to listen.
But on her terms. She says, if he can explain how my Dogecoin went to zero and not make me feel like a complete idiot,
Fair enough. And Anjali. Still cynical, but...
A little crack appears. She'll hear him out. She says, if you can show me a retirement plan that doesn't include cutting cable and switching to Maggie 3 nights a week.
Huh. You can feel the tension break a little there. Rohan actually laughs.
A genuine laugh, the source says. First one that morning.
And just like that, they decide they'll invite Karan next Tuesday.
To finally start making sense of this money maze. It's a hopeful note.
It really is. It shows that even when things feel overwhelming, just admitting the problem and deciding to seek help, especially empathetic help, is a huge first step.
Right. There's no magic fix. But recognizing that in today's complex world with digital assets, shifting careers, life changes, getting personalized, understanding guidance isn't a luxury anymore. It's becoming almost a necessity to navigate the chaos.
So, thinking about everyone listening, what's the main takeaway here from the Gully Café?
I think it's that financial stress. It really does cut across generations and life situations. Doesn't matter if you're 24 or 70.
That unseen strain can feel huge. But the source shows us that just talking about it, acknowledging it openly, that's step one.
Definitely. And despite all their different problems, Meera, Ajay, Rohan, Anjali, Cyrus Uncle, they all fundamentally want the same things. Clarity, a workable plan.
And guidance they can actually trust. Someone empathetic.
And what really stands out isn't just the stress itself, but the idea that financial well-being now is less about old-school budgeting and more about building resilience for a bumpy ride.
The rules have changed.
The financial game has changed, so our approach needs to change too.
So maybe a final thought for you listening right now. In your own financial life, what's the unspoken stress you might be carrying? And what could it mean for you to find your own Karan someone or some resource that helps you untangle your specific money maze with clarity and maybe even a little bit of unexpected wisdom?
Something to think about.
Definitely something to mull on until our next deep dive.